One of the most often asked questions by property scouts is one that's actually a very legitimate question. How am I going to get paid? And how much am I going to get paid? Well, how do I know I'm going to be protected when I submit these deals? Well, we understand your concern. We want to make sure that that concern is taken off the table so that you just concentrate on going out and finding deals. Many of your residential investors have a property scout or a bird dog program that they put together. Many of those pay on a per lead basis, $5, $10. I've started running my first one of those back probably 15, 18 years ago. And they are paid on a per lead submitted basis. And so if you submit, call it 20 leads per week, that will give you, that's a fairly substantial number of leads. That will give you maybe $100, maybe $200 on the high end for submitting those. So it's going to take you an awful lot of leads to get to a sizable amount of money. In essence, we don't pay per lead submitted. We pay per lead that has been accepted that we ultimately close on, but we pay a lot larger amount for the work and the time and the effort that you do and the information you provide to us. In essence, what we do is pay you based on the anticipated profits of the project. And the way we've got it worked out is that we make you a partial owner of the property at the time that we close. Each of our properties are closed within its own company, its own single asset LLC, and you as property scout will be shown in the legal LLC documents to be a participating member within that company. Typically you'll have a 1% share of the company at the time we buy it. Now what we will also do within that the legal document setting up the company, we're going to have you sign a document that says that shortly following the closing that you will agree to sell us and we will agree to buy from you your interest. And so at the end of once the closing takes place, once we own the property, your interest will be acquired by the company. You'll be paid a fee based on 1% of the anticipated profits of the project, and then you can take your money and go out, find more deals, send them in, and repeat the process over and over and over again. Now let me give you an idea how we calculate that anticipated profit. There's going to be a much more complex, much more in-depth cash flow analysis and spreadsheet put together for it, but just to use this simple one that you're working on your own. If you'll notice, on this particular project, we're buying the property for $650,000. It's costing us an additional $32,500 to get into it. We're spending $85,000 per month on debt service. We're paying another $150,000 for improvements, repairs, rehab, what have you. So in essence, we're into the property for $650,000 plus $32,500 plus $150,000, so that's $832,000 or so. However, the property, once it gets stabilized, should be worth $1.88 million. So in essence, there's a $1 million anticipated profit gross, less debt service, less additional fees and things like that that comes out of it. So when, in essence, we're into the property for $800 something thousand. It should be worth 1.8 when we're done. That's $1 million gross profit. Once we calculate the much more thorough spreadsheet, we'll take some fees and additional cost out of there, but it still should be a pretty high range. When you calculate your 1%, when we calculate your 1% prior to closing to show you what you're getting, in essence, that's 1% of the $1 million, which works out to be $10,000 in this particular instance. So your one submittal on this will be worth $10,000 to you when we purchase back your interest following the closing. That's how you get paid. That's how you're going to be guaranteed to be compensated. You're a part owner going into the deal. We buy your interest back and give you the cash that you so richly deserve to go out and get started on your finding the next property. Now, are we telling you that you're going to get a 5-figure check, a $10,000 check each time you submit a deal? No, absolutely not. What we're telling you is you'll get at least a 4-figure check up to a 5-figure check. So in essence, when we buy your interest, you're going to get anything from $1,000 minimum to $99,999 maximum for your involvement. Now, $1,000 at $5 a piece for a residential property scout, that's an awful lot of houses to be submitting. Even at $10, that's 100 leads you'd have to submit in order to get a $1,000 check. And I'll tell you that $1,000 is by far on the low end. If we can't make it, $1,000 in our mind constitutes only $100,000 worth of profit, and we probably won't be doing the deal if it results in a $100,000 profit. So in essence, most of the profits are going to be substantially larger than that, which means most of your checks are going to be substantially larger than that. But when we buy your interest from you, you should get either a 4 or a 5-figure compensation for your ownership interest in the property.